Well, today is Wednesday, and sorry for no video yesterday, guys. My voice sounded terrible, and I'm suffering from seasonal allergies, like always. I always start around here, then go away, and then come back again. Right around the time I'll do my May 22nd day in the life, which is traditional around here. Right around then is when they'll come back, and then they'll really end right around, like, June 10th. So, expect, if I film a morning video during that time frame, it will probably be rough. But in this video today, we're going to be talking about things you should not do with your chickens. If you do these things, well, you might be wraps, or it might cause some issues down the line. You never know. Either one could happen, but let's not test that theory. You never really know with your chickens. Let's try to not test it or push it too far. Let's begin. Let me show you a few things that you shouldn't do with your chickens. Alright, so first up we got putting a stranger chicken into the flock. Because guess what? Your chicken flock will not be welcoming of it, unless it's the pet flock. For some reason they take newcomers in with open arms. I don't know what they do. Like, to be honest, like some like coyote could like literally shapeshift into a chicken with malicious intent to kill the flock. They'd sneak into the yard as a chicken, and the chickens wouldn't care. To be honest, they wouldn't even care if it was literally plain and obvious, because they are stupid a lot of the time. Some of the time they're really smart. Like with some things they're smart and with other things they're dumb. I think that's with most people and animals as well. And you gotta also remember here that most of the time they won't be as accepting as this flock. This flock is kind of an outlier, and so is that flock as well, except they're a little bit more picky with their position on the pecking order, and then they just don't care about it. Look, they literally do not care about their pecking order one bit. I never see fighting. In this flock I'll occasionally see some fighting going on, usually between like one of the barred rocks and another chicken. But I will say, if you invite a stranger chicken into the flock, to a flock of most likely Rhode Island Reds, they won't take it too lightly. And if you include a rooster into an only hen exclusive flock, oh, it's done. It's just done. It's wraps for maybe the flock. Not really. It's wraps for them being somewhat friendly, because their friendly behavior will be flushed down the drain when he gets moved in. Take a look at the pet flock now. They don't duck down when you go around them to go pick them up. They don't let you pet them. They're not friendly. The farm flock, on the other hand, really friendly. They don't have a rooster. Notice a pattern there? Is giving them feed, the wrong type of feed. Like, if you're giving them chick feeder when they're too old, then their eggs aren't going to develop properly. But if you give them the egg layer pellets when they're too young, which you don't want to give them egg layer pellets until I'd say when they're like 16 to 20 weeks old. But if you're giving them layer pellets like once they're fresh out of the egg, then there's going to be issues because they won't develop properly. I think they'll develop properly. It's just like they won't have, like, I don't know the exact specifics because I've never really looked into it too much, but all I know is don't do that. Like, seriously, there's a ton of risks that you risk, maybe even illnesses. I'm not totally sure. There's probably got to be at least one of them out there. I'm not too sure with this one, but to be honest with you, just don't do it, because for the sake of you and me, your chickens should be alive. I want your chickens to be alive and healthy, because if they aren't, then you're gonna have some pretty serious issues in the future. And next up we got one that's super obvious. Don't, and I mean do not, ignore any sick or injured chicken. If you notice the chicken limping, investigate it immediately. Don't wait on it. Don't sleep on it. Like, oh, I'm gonna wait till 6:30 tomorrow morning. 6:30 comes around and you're fast asleep. Nope, you want to go treat it, look at it immediately. If you notice your chicken's limping, or you know she looks pretty sick, well then you want to take a look at it and check and see what's up. You don't want to be messing around with this, because this could potentially lead to a serious outcome. Keep in mind, what we did with Sprinkles is that we actually did spot her, like literally on day 2 and started giving her treatments ASAP. But even if we discovered it the day it formed, then there wouldn't be anything to do, because, well, the infection got way too bad and serious that unfortunately she never survived that one. So don't sleep on their illnesses at all. And why is this open? Oh god, bro, that was crazy. I don't think that was supposed to happen. And of course we got not taking notice of if your chicken's using excess time in the nesting box. That's a more fancy way of saying they're broody. I know that, like, it's not that serious, but like if you're going to like just not care, you do want to notice if they're broody or not, because they'll take up a nesting box. And if they're one of those chickens that are nesting box picky, they'll take up a nesting box that most likely the rest of the chickens will be using. So with this, if they go broody, like, they'll go broody in the most random times here. You'll have a chicken going broody right around when they should, like May or early June. You'll have another chicken that'll go broody in the middle of the summer when it's like 165,000 degrees outside. And you'll have another chicken going broody after it snowed 2 feet for no particular reason at all. That's just how it works with chickens, and there's no other way to prevent it. It will unfortunately just be like that. We actually do have a broody chicken in there we're not trying to hatch out eggs with. It's Fluffball. I don't think she's ever really been broody. Maybe when he just moved her in this flock, she had some broody tendencies, but she's not been this broody, so we have to kick her out of the box every time. That's how you gradually remove the broodiness. We noticed it in Q, and she's always been like that. Loudmouth goes broody for maybe up to a day at most. And lastly, feeding stranger plants to your chickens. If you just find a random plant on the ground, just throw it in there. Don't do that. Find a way to rewind time and just don't throw that plant in there. Throw it in like the compost or something like that. Because you don't want to run the risk of them potentially getting seriously sick from it. I just want to let you know that. They could get possibly seriously sick from that. But if you do your research and find out which plants they can have and which plants they can't, then go ahead, be my guest, throw it in there, do whatever. As long as you know for a fact that it's backed up and you can tell that it's going to be given to them. It doesn't have to necessarily benefit them. It just has to be fine for them to eat, and just throw it in there. Don't give them too much because it'll be unhealthy, but I will say some of the plants they will love. And if they knew how to actually jump, they'd probably be eating these leaves on this plant as well. So yeah, I guess that is pretty much the end of this video. I did do 6 tips today about this stuff, so be sure to click the like and subscribe button, because while I'm doing these chicken videos a bit more often, trying to fit in chicken and gardening into my schedule is something that's been really tough. Have you noticed that at all? I haven't done a chicken video in a whole week because fitting all this gardening stuff and this chicken stuff into the right timeline is insane, because it's literally those 2 seasons when people want to know the most information about them, they literally overlap each other. So either I should have done this last month, or I should do it now when it's most trending. I don't know, to be honest. There's just no way to tell. And yeah, to be honest with you, I don't care. Well, I'll try to do like every other day type of thing here. Like one day it's chickens, next day it's gardening, and so on and so forth. But if I can't balance it out, I might have to shift to one thing or the other for a quick period of time, maybe like 2 or 4 days. And then I'll go right back to making the other form of content consistently alongside the other one. So if you're wondering, that's where it's all been. So hope you got some value out of this one. If you want part 2, be sure to comment down below. I got you covered with that one, and we'll cut to the outro.